Hey, what's up? I'm Chris, this is CK Woodworks. Thanks for clicking on my video, checking it out. Today I'm going to show you how I made this shadow box, proudly displaying a United States Marine Corps non-commissioned officer sword. This is going to be a going away present for somebody I'd worked with. This was a fun build. Here we go, show you how I did it. I hope you liked it. Stay tuned.
Start milling up some alder the way I normally do. This is quickly becoming one of my favorite species to work with, just because it's so cost effective and it always gives me a nice product, and it's really easy to work with.
So first things first is I'm building the box. I have my dado stack in here because to join this box I intend to do what's called a locking rabbet.
I'm not gonna lie, this took several back and forth trips to the table saw to get this to fit together just right.
So normally for the back I would have cut a dado in here, but with this kind of joint, that dado would be showing through on the side. So instead, I'm just gonna cut it out to fit, drop it in, bring it together with pocket screws.
After the glue up, the box was just ever so slightly out of square, but grabbing a clamp, I was able to pull it back in and everything fit together perfectly.
So I'm ready to start working on the lid for the box. I went ahead and cut up a bunch of boards that I'm going to use. First thing I'm going to do is cut the groove for the plexiglass that's going to sit inside the lid. And then I'm going to take it over to the router and route an edge profile on it and church it up a bit. Alright, so now I just need to cut up the pieces and make the box. I'm pretty sure at some point I've already expressed my distaste for miters. I gotta do it anyway. That didn't turn out so bad. At the very least, I don't think I screwed anything up that I can't fix. On to the next step, gotta start gluing it up.
To start with, I'm only gluing up the bottom two corners. While that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and start cutting out the plexiglass on the table saw. And being able to do that is one of the reasons I like using plexiglass. Before I put it in, I go ahead and peel back about 1/2 inch of the protective covering all the way around it. Go back and cover that area I just exposed with some blue masking tape just to protect it throughout the rest of the process.
With that set to the side for a minute, I'm going to go ahead and start working on getting the hinges put in. And then by the time I'm done doing the hinges on this side, that should be dry enough for me to go ahead and do the other side of the hinges. And at that point we should have a box. So the reason I went ahead and attached the hinges now because I doubt you can tell on the camera, but there's some unevenness around this lip. With the hinges in, I now have a fixed point. It's not going to move side to side. I can't put it in backwards, whatnot, so I can go ahead and true that up. I can also tell I didn't cut my hinges deep enough, so I'm going to have to go back there and touch that up. I'm not going to make you watch any of this. It's time for me to start working on the inside of this box, the part that everybody's going to see. To do that, I'm going to start cutting down a piece of 1/4 inch plywood. And the reason I'm doing it separately is because I think it's going to be easier to work with if I do it outside the box and then drop it in later. I need that piece to be just a little bit shorter, about a 1/16 of an inch all around, so that I can wrap over the fabric I'm going to use later and it'll still fit in there. So I did this foam board process in another video I did, and I realized I didn't explain it at all. When doing a shadow box for a service member, traditionally, you're going to put things like their awards or their rank insignia on display in the box. The reason I use this foam board is because you can then take those things and just stick it in there. You don't have to use glue, you don't have to drill holes, etc. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the plywood, glue the foam board down, cover it in fabric, and then I can take the things I want and just stick them in there. The holes probably won't even show through if I need to move it around later.
I'm just using regular 3M spray adhesive here. Stuff is awesome, just be aware it makes a huge mess. Start gluing together a couple leftover boards to make the pillars that are actually going to hold the sword in the middle of the box. This part of the process is pretty straightforward, even though it's long and tedious. So rather than comment on the whole thing, I'm just going to let the video roll for a minute. At this point, it was pretty late in the day. I figured the last thing I'm going to do for the night is stain the box, and then I'll let it sit overnight and I'll be ready to go in the morning. Next day I pick up where I left off and start working on the pillars that are going to hold the sword. I didn't film it too well, but right about here is where I decided that things weren't looking right and I had to change up the plan. Now that I'm confident everything's going to fit together well, I'm going to go ahead and actually start working on the back panel. I'm going to start to apply my first coat of finish. I'm using polyurethane for this project, and then while that's drying, I'm going to continue working on that back panel.
And there we have the completed box. I had to put many more coats of finish on here, and then I hot glued the back end, put the hardware back on, and here we are. I got quite a bit of cleanup work to do. Apparently my taping job on the glass was not as good as I thought it was. So there's polyurethane everywhere, and I'll clean that up on my time. I won't make y'all watch that, but here it is. This was a fun build for me. It was a little bit of a challenge because I've never done anything quite like this before. That's one of the things I love about this hobby is learning how to do new things, challenging myself. If you like this video, please let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever. Thanks for watching, and I should have another video up here soon.